Mm-hmm.
Ask for your peace for them. We just pray, Lord God, had your protection around these things, yes, that you keep them safe, and that you would bless their show. Holy Spirit, please lead them.
Yes, Jesus.
In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Oh, God, we thank
Amen.
you. I love it.
I would like to thank, first, it's good to be back with all of you. Good to be back. Happy Monday. And we want to just continue to pray for the individuals in Houston and Texas and Irma now in Florida.
Wow.
We want to pray for mercy and just that God continues to just put a covering over those individuals. Would also like to give a shout out to Cindy and Ryan, who without them this show would not be possible. And in order to pay some bills, I have to thank Landmark Credit Union, good friends of mine who are sponsoring this show, sponsoring this segment with the great Iberia, Brandi, my dear friend.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Of course. Like, I called you 1,005 times to come and do, JC, can you do this? Can you be on the show? Can you sing? I broke down in my car. Could you help me? Anything.
So,
of course.
Let me give people a brief bio. And I'm not going to stick with the talking points, but I think when Brandi and I first met, we were doing some work with an individual, and it was around business. Mm-hmm. And I immediately fell in love with her attitude around business. And just to let you know, disclosure, Brandi is the talk show host and founder and creator of Saved and the City.
Yes.
Very wonderful, awesome talk show where you guys touch base on politics, current community happenings. Mm-hmm. You have celebrity guests. Absolutely. You talk about business. And sort of like me here, you talk about it with a solution-based platform.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
it's something that, it was dropped in my heart a while back because, we have all kinds of talk shows that are out there. And a lot of times what it is just talk. It's talk about this, it's talk about that. But then at the end of it, after you've opened your heart up, poured out your heart and soul, then you got to go back to the same stuff that you came out of. And so I said, if I do this talk show, Lord, you got to be able to give me a way to be able to provide solutions for people so that when they leave or when they, they're done talking, they have an answer, or at least a process to begin for their healing or for the next steps to their business, whatever the topic is that we're dealing with.
And I think that's one of the things that I loved and enjoyed about you whenever we encountered each other. One, you were very gracious in allowing me to come and run my mouth on a platform.
Come on and run it. I like it.
But you also have a business background.
Yes.
You are a bass guitar player.
I am.
You guys may have seen her at some of the Summerfest festivals. You're also a licensed. I don't want to say licensed, but what is it? Certified Reverend?
I am a minister of the gospel.
A minister of the gospel, a proud, intelligent, beautiful, smart, funny minister of the gospel.
Yes, I am. All of that. Wow.
And I think that's why I wanted to interview you because, two, I think one of the reasons why I got into this, and I think it's the same as you, is even when we talked about the word and the gospel and business, there are a lot of things that we don't incorporate in the word, where you have people just talking about the word, and that's great, but they're not applying it to, well, how does that apply in today's society?
Yeah.
What does God say about business? What does God say about politics? And then again, the fact that you were based on solutions blew me away. Because like you said, I got tired of us just getting together and everybody talking, and then after that, we reconvene the next week to talk about the problem we just talked about.
Yeah, right.
What's happening today? The youth, still in the cars.
Oh God, yeah.
Still in the cars.
Yeah.
What do you think is the problem?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think we need to do about it, and how do we leave a lasting legacy to make sure that this stuff doesn't continue to happen?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many places that we can go with that, but I do want to emphasize that with the show, the premise of it is kingdom solutions for real world issues. And so the thing is, everybody always has an answer, but a kingdom solution is one that cannot be tainted. It cannot be tampered with because it comes from the word of God. It can't be argued with. It is the law. It is fact. And so that's a part of the premise. We have all of these solutions, but then we actually attach a scripture to it where you can take that scripture and walk it out in life. And something else you said earlier was about, being able, because again, as being a minister, being a singer, being a songwriter, all these different types of things that we do, how do we make our God life a part of our everyday life in real application, and actually being able to apply those things in our lives? Because, regardless, people say, you talk to some of them, you got to just pray without ceasing, pray about the kids who are stealing the cars, but how, what's the action that we have to take? And so,
because prayer by itself, while that works, it often leads to maybe some action.
Yeah, exactly. We need something afterwards. And, actually, everything that I do, and, I'll speak even to your audience and to you, everything that we do is ordered. It's ordered together. So I've been through a lot. You mentioned some of my accolades, some of the things that I've done. But believe it or not, outside of the church, because I'm also a preacher's kid. My mother is a pastor.
Beautiful
outside,
pastor.
I love, and a baker and so many other things. I get all my entrepreneurial stuff from her. But, a lot of my journey came from things places, or I've ended up in places on my journey that I wouldn't expect would help me today. And when we talk about application, learn knowledge and activity knowledge, I got that from doing network marketing.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I started out in prepaid legal back in the day. And I learned now I'm not into network marketing at this point in my life, or multi-level marketing. I don't hate on those people who do it, because if you've never experienced that, you should totally connect with it.
It's a wonderful training ground to get you acclimated to business. It is a wonderful training ground.
Yes, absolutely. And so that's where it was for me. I was in corporate America. I worked for Kohl's department stores in their store planning department, helping to coordinate the buildings of the Kohl's stores around the country. And I also worked for Harley Davidson. So I had the background, to be able to move up in corporate America, but it just, because of my, and not that you can't be creative in corporate America, but because of my kind of creativity and my desire to want to step out, I couldn't take it no more. I couldn't take, the box, and so I broke out, and prepaid legal was actually where I got my start in that interim. Okay, I'll get a job, but in the meanwhile, let me just see what this is about, since I'm, without a job. And so, like I said, I learned so much personal development from there, and I grew kind of from that point, like I said, with the personal development, and then it led me from this direction to that direction. I already had my degree from Howard University.
Okay.
I graduated from Howard University with a degree in music and psychology, believe it or not. Yeah, and so then it kind of...
You're still using that today?
I am. I'm trying to figure out where. I'm trying not to be all over the place, because I am still using it, because psychology is a big part of marketing.
Right.
It's a huge part of marketing.
Huge part.
And then the other aspect of it, and then I want to get back to your initial question about the youth that are, that are beyond stealing the cars. It seems like a lost generation. It's not the truth, but that's what it seems like. But a lot of it come from me. Why I didn't end up there, it literally was by the grace of God. Because we all have something. We all have that point in our life where it literally comes down to a decision. And that one decision can either lead you left or right. But thank God I had an accountability group around me. I had a praying mother. Mm-hmm. I had, people who were like, girl, what you doing?
Right.
And then there are some points and places in my life where I was like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm coming back from this. But by the grace of God. Sometimes it's about what's rooted in you in the beginning. So that's what I would say. Sometimes, I'm not saying that the youth are a lost cause, but we got to start now. A lot of times we feel like, oh, they're only 5 years old, but you start pouring into them now, watching what it is that they're watching now. Do not let the TV, and the video games raise your children. Games like Grand Theft Auto. Hello. So what it does is it desensitizes us. So for me, I was overly sensitized to just everything, whether I was touring Germany and Switzerland. My mother was like, nope, you can't go there because you going to tour, So if it's not your mama, let it be somebody else from the village.
Do you think that we've missed, and I don't want to sound like it's a doomsday kind of scenario. Do you think we missed the boat on continuing to tie our children and our youth into God? I mean, I remember a day when I was coming up, and my father was a Lutheran deacon. My grandfather on my mother's side was the founder of a Baptist church. Yeah. You were going to church whether you wanted to or not. And growing up, I didn't too much care for that policy. But now being as old as I am, it gave me the foundation to come back to God. I mean, do you think we're missing a boat by not incorporating that, like you said, kingdom-based solutions in our everyday life?
Well, yeah, I think I don't know if we're missing the mark. I think what's happening is that we haven't moved with the times. The youth today are on a different, I mean, they communicate very differently. So just saying come and sit in church is very different when back in the day I didn't have the option to stream online.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we have all of these different aspects of social media, and that type of thing. And I think that if in the old church we aren't accommodating the next generation of people, then we are missing the mark.
Right.
So I think we have to, tradition is great. I think that we need more connection intergenerationally, where the young people can run the show on a given Sunday or a given Wednesday. And I know there are a lot of churches that do that, but then there are some that just are like, no, this is the way it is, this is the way it's going to be. So I think that even beyond church, that even in the home, that even as parents, we got to understand how our youth are communicating, because you think they're hearing you, but on a whole other side, they have some other things going on. So I think it starts with us becoming aware of kind of what today's communications methods are and tying into it.
You know what, that actually makes a lot of sense. And I know that as far as radio show hosts, and I saw Jermaine Reed watching, who I'm on his show every Monday, and then I was on another guy's show. I was on yours, you're on mine. And I think there's a network of us, really trying to use this ministry. I think you were second, maybe next to Homer Blow, who I saw actually using social media to reach a new generation, and you used it effectively. I mean, and I'm not just saying that because you're here, but I've watched you do business, and you've managed to incorporate those kingdom-based solutions. And I got to be honest, I stole some of your stuff. I mean,
it's nothing new under the sun. I probably stole it from somewhere too.
And so talk to me about the ability of social media and how you're using that. Because I think you hit on a good point that we're not using all the communication mediums and outlets to change the direction our society is going in. We're not using them to our advantage.
Oh, absolutely. And it's been a process for me too. I mean, I'm on the
upgraded. I see the new studio.
Just a little bit.
The new material.
I'm trying.
The new equipment.
I like, come on, new equipment, state of the art. I love it. Okay, so and that was the direct. Because I was on an FM radio station. Shout out to 101.3 FM. Love Amari and Mike McGee and all of those guys over there. But I was just in a place, so I'll go here and then I'll go back to your question, where I was like, was just in prayer, and I'm saying, God, how do I get to that next level? How do I break through the glass ceiling? What's next? Do I just stay here? And even though I'm not even a year old yet, but still, to me, for you to stay relevant, you always have to be pressing the mark. Yep. You always got to be pressing to say, okay, what's next? I mean, that's how technology works.
Yep.
It's like, okay, as soon as you feel like you're comfortable, think about Apple. As soon as you think you're comfortable with your iPhone 7, they're like, okay, iPhone 8, better than ever, and you don't know exactly, okay, what to do. So the thing is, we have to be the same way in our businesses, or whatever it is we're trying to get out to the public. We have to be able to be pioneers, if you will, and innovators of what's next. And so with the next station, shout out to LZ Flinnard over at WQYLDB. That's actually the station I'm on now. And believe it or not, it's an internet It's an internet marketing, internet radio show, and it's a podcast. And what got me is he said, why stay local when you could be global? And I said, okay, where do I sign up? And so there's ways to be able to do that, whether you're on air and then you're tapping into social media, because you're local. As soon as you go Facebook Live, you're global. You know what I mean? Anybody, if you have a public platform, anybody can see you. Anybody can connect with you. And I think that's one of the things that we have to do, especially with the older generation, is stop allowing fear to be your guide, because a lot of the older generation are like, no, I'm not getting on that contraption, because they feel, and I understand, because identity theft is real, but there are there's privacy settings, and there's ways that you can protect yourself on these different platforms. But it's so important to be able to utilize that. Honestly, anybody who says they have a business and they come to me and say that they're not on any social media platform, like, it takes everything inside of me not to be like, what the heck is wrong with you? Seriously, like you gotta be. I mean, if I don't even want to say anything about the president. If 45 is tweeting, surely, you know what I mean, you could be, putting some stuff out there, So I think the other thing to understand, I could talk, so jump in anytime.
No, I love it. Look, I told you, I'm just going to get in your business and let you go.
What I was going to say is also understanding the types of social media platforms, depending on who you're trying to reach. If you're trying to reach like young millennials, you don't want to be on Facebook. Sorry, you don't. They're not there. They're on Instagram. They're on Snapchat.
They are.
That's where they live.
Market. Yes.
They're not, and honestly, Instagram is actually, I mean, they're still there, but they're even
people
more
like
so
me
on
and you on Instagram.
We on Instagram now. We feel like we doing something about some Instagram famous. We old, child.
I don't even have a Snapchat account. And here I am advising people to get on Snapchat. So
I have one. I only use it for the filters, but it's all good. But I'm saying we do got to be connected to, if that's the generation you're trying to reach. But then also in marketing, when you're dealing with that, you got to understand, if you're trying to reach a 50-plus market, then social media may not be the best route for you. You might want to do some direct mailing. So there's so many different directions that we can go, And so back to, I'm like, where are we at?
Because there are nuggets that I want people to hear from. The premise of my show is I want people to hear from people who are doing these things. And with your background, Luminosity Enterprises, correct?
Yes.
Marketing, branding. And so, when we talk about them, when we particularly talk about God-based or God-filled kingdom solutions, how do we upgrade our techniques and strategies? And like you said, I find it almost irritating when I hear someone says they own a business and I ask them, well, what social media platforms are you on? And they go, well, I'm not on that. Like, you got to be kidding me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not on LinkedIn, you're not on Twitter.
Right.
You're not on,
Can you at least get on LinkedIn,
Do you want to make money?
Right.
I mean, so
do you want to connect? You want somebody to know who you are? And then the other part is that it's free.
Right.
It's like you don't even have to pay for this level of marketing. In some ways, if you want to like boost posts and that type of thing.
But
even
then it's cheap. It's cheap. $20 to reach 1,000 some people. So I want talk to me about the marketing and branding in the business. Talk to me about your view on how do you use first off, how do you operate as a kingdom or spirit-filled individual in the business climate, and on top of that, in a business climate in Milwaukee, because that's different.
It's very tough. It's tough, and honestly, it's a big reason that I created my own. And I'm not, pushing for anybody to not connect with people and network with people or even work in a corporate company. But you also have to understand whoever the head of that company is who you have to fall under.
Yeah.
And so this is why a big reason why I am an entrepreneur, because I fall up under the auspice of the Holy Spirit. Hallelujah.
Right.
God really is my partner, like for real. But, at the same breath, even though that's where that's my stance, when I deal with other clients, they may not be believers, or they may not have a believer's approach to whatever it is that
how do you rectify that?
That's rough. It's rough. I mean, it's so rough that I have turned down, for me, because there's so many people that are wishy-washy, and in front of the camera they're believers, but if you showing a certain amount of dollars, then we'll work with you. But for me, if it doesn't line up with my principal core values, I'm not doing it.
Do you think that may be, and I'm just throwing this out there because you have my brain spinning now, and we talk about it on the show, operating as kingdom business field individuals.
Yeah.
Do you think that could be a reason why some people are not successful? Because you have not set a bar on who you in business with.
Here's the crazy part. Yes, absolutely, that's why they're not successful. And you'll be surprised when you stand for something, how many people will actually still want to do business with you. They want to do business with anybody. I mean, regardless if they believe or they don't believe, they want to do they want to do business with people who do things in excellence. Period, point blank. If you do what you do in excellence, it don't matter what you believe, they're going to do business with you and they're going to fall under your rules. I have a recent client and two of my other business partners, shout out to Johanna Duckworth and Anita Clinton, beast in the marketing world. Oh my God. I mean, just Anita in her graphics and design and just business strategy. Johanna in her life design and style. It's just amazing. So we're doing things, marketing from a kingdom-based standpoint and winning. I've been praying for this type of partnership forever. But back to your point, if you stand for something, and you do what you do in excellence, they are going to come under your umbrella.
So in essence, people shouldn't sacrifice their moral or their integrity.
You don't have to.
When it comes to if I'm gonna operate with God and operate in God, there can be no sacrifices. There can be no excuses. Can excellence be taught in business?
Ooh, yes, I think it can be taught. Yes, I absolutely think it can be taught.
Then why don't me and you run into more excellent operators?
Because they want to talk right.
This city.
Because we need to start teaching. Honestly, and that's the thing. Just because we run into a lot, all that. When you see a lack in wherever it is, whether it's your community, whether it's the people you're running into, and it bothers your heart and spirit, is because you haven't stepped up, or I haven't stepped up to the plate to change the atmosphere of that thing. Because for some people, it don't even bother them. But for us, if it bothers you, that's a part of where your passion is, and that's a part of where your work. Because some people say, well, how do I change the world? See what bothers you. What bothers you? So I do believe it can be taught, and I believe that there are many people that have not been taught the right way. And I think that's why, and I think we excuse too many things. Especially if we move to the area, and this is a kind of a touchy topic, when we deal with Black-owned businesses.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Get your cousins in there.
Get your cousins, okay? And then people say support. Now, I'm so for supporting African American businesses, and just businesses in general. But I'm so for it, to the point, I've supported shout out to Jasmine Johnson, who does Recycle the Black Dollar every year, and it's an amazing event. I love what she does over there. Bronzeville, that whole thing. So there are things that are happening in our community, and there are things that are changing the community. But I think that the next step is beyond just supporting Black businesses. I would love to see some type of symposium or forum to teach some Black businesses customer service.
Yeah.
Keeping your doors open. I don't want to come and show up at your place and then it's closed. And I thought
you didn't tell nobody.
You didn't tell nobody. I got my whole family coming. I wanted to support you and you're closed. Oh, we ran out of fish. Whatever the situation.
Or Popeyes, we ran out of chicken.
Well, that's something else.
You're a chicken place. How do you run out of chicken?
I don't know. But I'm just saying, whatever it is, if it's a clothing store, I want to get a bunch of dresses for an upcoming event. Maybe I want to buy some to give back to a group of young girls that I mentor. But you're closed. There's nothing online. You have no website. You have no internet presence. I can't find you. And so I think that's why we're missing business. On top of it,
you know what? You are definitely gonna come back. I've had a blast, Cindy. Cindy and I are both looking here like this is great.
Yes,
and
then some.
I want to thank you for taking the time out, and for definitely I'm gonna have you back because I love the conversation I love what you do.
Yes,
big fan of you, your mom. Whenever you call, if I can be there, I am.
Yes.
Give us some parting shots out, a word of encouragement. We got 2 minutes left.
Oh, absolutely. So words of encouragement is you're enough. Period, point blank. A lot of times when we're dealing with whatever it is and what our situations are, what our businesses are, whatever that thing is, it's like, oh, but I need this, I need that. You are enough. When I started Saved in the City, I had nothing and I still be struggling. But God said, I gave you everything that I needed you to have to carry out this vision in the earth. It's already in your hands. Check your hands. You probably already have exactly what you need. So that's it. That's really about it.
You know,
You're
I
enough.
love that. And again, I want to thank you to our sponsors, Landmark Credit Union. Thank you to all the Facebook Live people watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you follow Brandi Iberia.
I can just give you my website
Please.
really quick, www.savedandthecitymke.com. Again, savedandthecitymke.com. Or you can listen live on www.wqyl-db.com. One other shout out to my mother, Mima's Gourmet Delights.
Yeah.
She actually is going to be launching in Woodman's on September 23rd. Make sure you come out to Woodman's in Menominee Falls and get you some good, amazing cakes. And then lastly, my 1-year anniversary is coming
Congrats.
up. Yay, September 30th. I need you to be there.
I'm
and it's
there.
free and open to the public. Please come. We're going to be talking about stuff. All girl band is going down. I'm whip out the bass on y'all. Hopefully y'all can handle it. It's going down in the earth for God. So thank you so much,
everybody.
Jason.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Ryan. To all our listeners, if you
Yes.
like what you heard, you can reach me at www.thefinancialpromise.com or 414-810-7196. We love you all, and until next Monday, peace.
Yes.